One thing, I guess, first question I have, I actually ended up watching the flick this morning, and I'm really glad I did. I really, really enjoyed it, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
One question I got, will the soundtrack be made available?
It is, well, all of the original stuff that isn't available elsewhere, it actually, it just went out like a week or two ago. I'm sure that there was even, this is the final version coming out, well.
Cool, man. Yeah, man, that soundtrack was killer. Even the score was awesome.
Yeah, that's what it is. The score and all those acoustic songs.
Mm-hmm.
The guy playing guitar and singing that goes over all the visual sequences.
Yep.
It's all that stuff in the score. Is the right. Then there's other stuff that's just like indie bands. That stuff is not there. But obviously that stuff's available elsewhere.
Cool. How's the film festival circuit been treating you? I know you did some film festivals, obviously like Sundance and stuff.
It was awesome. It was really awesome. I guess it's over now here, and I think I'm actually just all of a sudden now switching. I'm about to start doing some epic journey overseas, which I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, that will be fun. One of the things when I was watching the flick really got me was the way it was shot. What kind of informed your decision to shoot it kind of like blown out, somewhat unfocused?
Me and Joel Hodge, the cinematographer, have been working on pretty much everything we do together for like 4 or 5 years now, and I have the hobby of building and customizing cameras. And so there was a ton of work went into the visual side of the movie, I guess. Where like we would keep building stuff, like, okay, we're going to use this camera for just this part of the movie or for these shots. I think it was just a natural progression of just playing and having the script rolling.
Kind of a theme throughout the movie and like everything they do, obviously from like the flamethrower to the car and all that kind of stuff seemed like, fire seemed to be like pretty huge in that flick, kind of seemed like it was like kind of like made as like a cleansing type of thing, when he goes to burn Millie's stuff and, kind of just everything, is that kind of the idea you were going for with it, or am I reading way too much into it?
No, you're definitely not reading too much into it. I imagine, the theme of fire, right, like you're saying, it can represented a ton of different things. So I would, as far as you want to read into it, I'm sure it's all accurate. It has some basis in what we were doing.
Now, was it tough to kind of direct yourself in the flick? Obviously writer, director, star of the movie. I mean, did you have a hard time, kind of taking yourself away from being behind the camera?
Yes, that was the. I mean, I always want to say that was the hardest part, which is totally inaccurate because the hardest part was just making the movie because it was such a huge, drawn out like trial, like the whole way. But for me, like for some reason, like the most stressful part of like while we were shooting was the acting part. Like I hated it. Like I really thought I was ruining the movie. So every day we were shooting, I was like, "Fuck!" I can't do this,
Yeah, I mean, did you do a lot, any of the editing as well? Were you involved in that process? So you're like watching yourself?
Yes, I was one of the main editors, if not the main editor.
Was it tough to kind of watch your own? I do a weekly live show myself on the web, and I watch myself, oddly enough, on like 3 different monitors as I do the show, and I got to tell you, I hate it. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that was the one part where, for my performances, I had to trust. Kind of like there ended up being a couple people that I kind of realized I think got it. Mm-hmm. They were around me, and I feel like it would always come down to like there were 2 takes that were good, right? Like, or there were 2 best takes. One of them was probably one where I was kind of forcing it to be the way that I thought it should be in the script, and the other one where I think I let go a little bit and just did it. It was different. And I'd always want to pick one of like, yeah, this is the best one, right? It's just like the way I pictured it. And whenever I show these people, they'd always be like, no. That one is bad, that one's forced. This other one, the next take, is the best one. And then at some point I was like, okay, I just had to trust them. And I for the ones where a lot of people have a strong opinion that I trusted, I usually just go with there just because like I said, it's so difficult to have perspective when you're looking at yourself.
Yeah, no, totally. Now, it's kind of, because of the way you shot the movie, it's really kind of tough to discern things like Especially because of the, actually, you also kept it pretty small and pretty kind of personal as a film, even though you have a lot of these road sequences and stuff. It's kind of hard to discern, like, the size of the not only the budget, but kind of also the size of the crew and stuff you had on there. Was it a kind of a large crew, or was it kept pretty small?
Oh, I think incredibly small. I imagine there's probably almost no films that people who actually, a lot of people see that, other than documentaries maybe, that have a crew as small as those. A lot of times there would be 2 of us, and maybe the most there ever was like 6 or 7.
And so, on all these scenes where you got, like, the flamethrower going and stuff like that, and, Medusa's shooting fire out the back of it and whatnot, how, have anyone, formally trained on anything out there while you were doing that? Or was it kind of like, okay, guys, we got this great effect, let's hope for the best?
It was me and Paul Edwardson, who's also the gaffer and one of the producers, and, did everything like everybody else. We both had, been, build things our whole lives, but not just having formal training. So, we build it and get it to do what we wanted it to do, and then we would be like, okay, is this safe enough to actually use? And we would try and calculate the risk and, maybe where people shouldn't be standing and stuff like that, but, we really just went for it.
And was pretty much all of those effects practical, or did you have to do some stuff in post? I mean, are those things fully functional?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, there was no. We faked absolutely nothing. I
Nice.
mean, the only thing that would have been faked, I mean, as far as that kind, nothing was faked when it came to fire.
Gotcha.
Everything that the car does, like from the smoke screen to like the bleach stuff and the flamethrowers and the surveillance cameras, all that stuff we just built into the car so that we could. So that was part of the idea that we could just. It would make it feel more real if we just actually had the devices, and then we, as actors, could play with them and have fun with them the way the characters were supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's actually something I really noticed. Like, everyone had really awesome chemistry, and I know that the actor that you, or at least I say I know, but I read, the actor you cast as Aiden, like, you guys know each other really, really well, and, so how about the rest of the cast and stuff? I mean, as you guys were, everyone seemed like they had really good chemistry and stuff. Did you guys kind of, was it kind of a party atmosphere? You kind of got to know each other type of situation, or?
Yeah, it was one of these things that, for all of us, it's a movie that I've been talking about making since I was like 23. And all I've been making short films and doing, small production jobs, whatever I could get, but it was always the intent to make this feature film, but I just didn't know how to actually get it done, because you know how to raise money. And so over the years, I was collecting all these people, like Jessie is like one of the first actresses when I moved out to LA. So I made like something like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 short films with her. And so I had the idea to have her play the lead like way early on. So she was like, she was always had the script and was, we were always talking about it. And then like I met Tyler, like I can't remember exactly when, like 4 years before he started shooting. And I saw him in a play, and I went up to him afterwards and was like, hey, play this part of my movie. And he was like, okay. And it was so many years we'd end up, becoming friends and working on other projects, for years by the time we actually started shooting, even though we met to. And kind of everybody on the cast has a story like that. Like either they worked with us before, or I cast him in Bellflower, and then we end up becoming friends, for 2 years by the time we started shooting.
Cool.
So everybody was really familiar with the project and each other by the time we actually started.
Well, no, and that totally, explains the kind of, chemistry between everyone. Did you, were you kind of, in terms of the script and stuff, I mean, everyone else sounded also, and I think this is part of where the chemistry comes in, everyone sounded very kind of natural, and it almost seems like it wasn't scripted. Did you guys, kind of do that thing I hear a lot of now, which basically is like, okay, well, we had a rough outline, and we knew what we had to cover in a scene, but, it wasn't scripted per se. Did you guys kind of try to follow that, or did you do, like, was it pretty fairly well scripted?
No, it was 100% scripted. And then, there's some scenes that, just like everybody, I think if you've seen, a lot of things are probably read like verbatim as they do in the script, and then a lot of them, if it wasn't working the way you wanted it to, they change lines and you rework it a little bit when you're there. But like, I mean, I know I'm terrible at improv. Yeah.
You try to be in the moment, and sometimes it's tough.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I know that. I think out of everybody on the cast, I think Tyler's the one that probably has the ability to come up with stuff and change his lines the most.
Yeah, it's probably because he had the theater experience, right?
Yeah. He's just a funny person. Like he's like thinks quick, on his toes.
You know, one other quick thing, like, you know, and I also noticed, I like how you kind of kept this, it was, I would call it like a surreal reality, in as much as all these people, you know, they go, they drink, they party, they do their thing, they're screwing, they're, you know, doing whatever they're doing. No one seemed to have a job, but yet everyone did still have to pay rent, which I thought was an interesting problem to give them.
It's funny what you're saying is exactly how I feel. I think of it as like it's a slightly augmented reality where like some things are focused on more than others.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. It really has genuinely surprised me how many people have brought up the job thing. It's one of those things that to me, like, the characters had jobs when we were shooting and in the script, and I cut them all out at one point because it would make me cringe whenever anybody talked about like money or police. Or jobs especially, and I went through and I cut all that stuff out, and I thought it was one of those things that was like, these people, they look pretty scummy. Like, they don't look like they're, you know, that they're living off trust funds. They probably have to go do something to make money at the end of every month to pay their whatever their small rent is. And I thought people would get that kind of like, you know, characters go to the bathroom. But some people have noticed, obviously, like that they don't have jobs. So to me, it's just augmented reality. I hope it doesn't hurt the movie so much for anybody.
No, man, I
noticed it, yeah.
No, I totally dug it. I thought it was I thought it was kind of an interesting kind of character. They were interesting character traits to not have to mention. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have added anything to the story to have them talk about their jobs. You know what I mean?
I even thought about it a lot when I was editing. I was like, did I mess up with the jobs that I had to cut them out? And I'm like, no, but the time period kind of was in my mind where these characters are in their lives. Like, their jobs definitely don't define them in any way.
Right.
Because like the script I'm working on right now, the characters' career, their jobs, whatever you want to call them, like play a fairly big part of the story. Yeah. Yeah,
man. No, I mean, Millie could have been a stripper, or she could have been a freaking secretary. You know, it wouldn't have mattered. You know, it was all about her. You know. Yeah, man. Where's this flick going to next, or what's up for it? I mean, obviously you guys have had, you know, a really successful run on the fest circuit, and I know you guys have is it theatrical or DVD doing? You know, what's next on it?
You know what? We're right at the beginning of our platform release, theatrical.
Awesome.
So we've done. Where is it? Well, it's obviously coming to Boston soon, right? That's why we're doing this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's coming there, and I know it doesn't. Our rollout doesn't kind of peak until like the middle of next month, I think. And we'll be in in 20 to 30 cities every weekend.
And how's that making you feel?
The whole thing is unreal to me. Like, when we made this movie, we for sure did not think we were even going to be in one theater. We were just hoping that it would get made available if people happened to stumble across it, you know.
How did it kind of happen that, you know, you got the deal? Was it Sundance? Was it?
I mean, from my point of view, it was entirely Sundance. We didn't know anybody in the industry. No one knew what we were doing. No one had an interest in what we were doing. And then we got into Sundance from submitting online. Right? Like Trevor just called me. I didn't know who Trevor Groff.
Yeah, Trevor Groff. Yep.
I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about Sundance. Someone had talked me into submitting online, which I thought was a waste of money. And we drove. We went crazy. We got the movie ready. We thought it was exciting, and we went out there. The first screening went awesome, and all of a sudden it was just like everything else just happened. The movie sold, and they've had me running around like a crazy person for 8 months.
Nice.
And it's been awesome.
No, I mean that's the story. You know what I mean? Like when you talk to other filmmakers who have kind of made it or made a deal. I mean that's the story. That you hope to hear, and then you focus on. You're like that. Maybe that'll be me one day. So
that's the dream. It is. I almost sounds dirty to call it a Hollywood dream, but I mean certainly I'm a person that's from the Midwest and moved out to the LA area to making show business, and then it took 10 years of working with no encouragement, but something happened.
Cool. No, it does. No, it's really encouraging. I mean, that's part of what we do, and probably one of the reasons why I really wanted to chat with you, because it's really it's very uplifting, to other filmmakers to hear kind of as they say, one of their own, kind of just get plucked out from obscurity. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is something that I had not expected, that I've heard tons, and people keep saying that all these other filmmakers are inspired by what we did, and it has me so fucking excited. I think it's the coolest thing, just because I think about that shit all the time. Like with all the camera technology and stuff changing, I really think that it could genuinely be a reality that all of a sudden you never know exactly where the best movies are going to come from each year. Where people can be doing what we're doing, where if you have enough manpower, you have the equipment available, and people can make like really original ideas that someone else would probably never greenlight.
Right. Yeah, no, your flick reminded me a lot of when I was watching. I was just like, this feels like the Dune generation, but with less three-ways.
Oh, that's an amazing comparison. Although I think a couple people have said stuff about Greg Araki. That's Greg Araki, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's no, man. I really enjoyed it, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know that they only gave me like 15 minutes to chat with you, and we're already.
Thank you, too.
Thanks, Evan. I really appreciate the time, man.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.